All right. So I want to talk about a couple of things. One is motivation and just like getting the motivation to do stuff and looking around and trying to find meaning and purpose in life and just motivating myself to just get up and produce something. It seems like I've gotten so used to just living or taking all of my time to just basically be okay with living that I've almost gotten out to the point where I don't really create anything. I mean, I do, but I mean, like recently I haven't been creating that much, and I think it's interesting because there's a few different things actually. One is it seems like my creativity is really based on how much feedback I get, for one, which it shouldn't be at all. And then also when it's not based on feedback, it's literally just because I feel like it's something that I think would be fun to do, or just something like that. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what exactly is it that like after you have everything that you want or that you're looking for or that you're striving for, what is it that you try to strive for? You know, like I was thinking to myself, and I'll go into this a little bit more also, but I was thinking about sobriety and addiction and stuff like that, and I was almost thinking to myself that I get to a point sometimes where it seems like I'm perfectly okay with everything, and it's almost like there's a part of me that doesn't want to be okay with everything, and there's a part of me that feels like there always has to be something that you're striving or searching for in order for life to have some sort of meaning. And it's really interesting because I'll feel perfectly fine or just satisfied with life, with how everything's going, and then all of a sudden I'll get like a craving to do something, or to really anything, like I'll be like, oh, I think that doing this is going to make me feel better, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, 2 hours later, you've gone off in this spiral of convincing yourself that you'll feel better the more that you try to do stuff, when in reality, in the very beginning of it, you felt fine to start with. And I find that really confusing on why I do that to myself, and especially when I'm already in a good mood. Why do I feel like I have to be in a better mood than what I'm already in? Why do I feel like I have to do that? And I've just been really thinking to myself about like my my conscious and unconscious tendencies, and just my like what is it that really makes people happy? You know, like what is it that brings fulfillment and joy and peace and happiness? Because it's not what people try to say it is. Like, it's not success or any of that stuff, because honestly, just feeling into it, I don't know how to explain it, but I've felt what the success feels like and what it's going to feel like, or what it does feel like. And it doesn't change the person that you are, or it doesn't change the way that you react to things, and it doesn't change the way that your mind and your like the way that you and your own mind work together or have a relationship. None of that stuff changes unless you put time into manifesting change internally, rather than trying to figure out something to do that's going to make you feel better, because nothing really and truly, nothing can make you feel better but yourself. And searching for anything, thinking that it's going to make you feel better, it's just insane. Literally, it's the definition of insanity, because you're the one manufacturing your own feelings. So there's no possible way that anything else can make you feel better. But just thinking into the sobriety thing also, you know, been off of nicotine for a minute now. Not a minute, but, you know, a couple weeks, and feels good. It honestly, like, no problems. But I've noticed that cravings for drugs and stuff like that have gone up a lot, since I basically, like, every time that I felt like I was bored or didn't know what to do or anything like that, I would just reach for a vape or something like that. And not having that crutch or whatever kind of like brings you right back into those questions of like, oh, would I feel better if I did this, or would I feel, you know, would this make me feel better, blah 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 blah. And that's just kind of like going back into it and over with myself. But I'm sure that's also just because of, like, you know, just because of the nature of the fact that my body is still trying to get used to not having nicotine or whatever, which, you know, I figure a lot more of it is mental than you think it is. A lot more is mental. I'd say it's probably 95% mental. Nicotine probably even more than that, 99% mental. Some other drugs like opiates and things like that, I'd say it's closer to 90% mental, because it's very heavily physical as well. But what I've noticed is that the reason why you turn to alcohol or drugs or anything to try to change your state of consciousness is because you don't feel like you are enough in this moment, or like you don't feel like there's enough substance to your life or anything like that, or like that's what I've figured for me, you know. And then I look into it even further, and I see that the substance in my life, the only reason that there wasn't any substance in my life was because I had basically sapped all of the substance out of my own life. And I find that really interesting too, that I can plainly see that I was deceiving myself by telling myself that I need something to make myself feel better. But at the same time, in the middle of those thoughts and those patterns of thinking and those habits and everything that's been built up for a while, in the middle of that is when it's really the kicker, you know. Like when you're actually going through that stuff, that's when seeing all this stuff is the biggest thing. And I've honestly become proud of myself for being able to see these patterns in myself before they get to a point where they're unconscious or taking me over in any kind of way. Oh man. But I have noticed that sobriety, or just you know, drug use in general, has for one, it basically you know, being into that whole scene for a while kind of like took my creativity and my drive and motivation and just threw it out the window. And now I'm basically rebuilding that for myself and like finding new ways to feel motivated to do stuff during the day. And also, you know, all the spiritual revelations and stuff like that kind of caused me to like, I get to a point where I'm just like, you know, really doing something or doing anything is honestly pointless. And I'm like, I just want to sit there and be with myself and just kind of feel my emotions and my feelings, and figure out why exactly I feel like I need to do anything in the first place to feel better. And then it seems when I do that for real, or like legitimately like stop and do that, it actually makes a huge difference. And then within I'd say within 5 minutes of me noticing myself being in a state where I'm kind of anxious or just like not knowing what to do with myself, and 5 minutes after noticing that and like consciously like moving back to looking at my breath and just looking into why I'm feeling those feelings in the first place, it generally dissolves for the most part. And honestly, I've realized that the mentality means everything. Like the way that you go into it thinking about it makes all the difference in the world. And right after this, I'll do one talking about what I mean by this with nicotine, because basically I was able to like, I basically have convinced myself that I can get off of anything now that I've gotten off of that, because of the fact of like, it felt like such a huge thing in my life, and it felt like it was such a big like chokehold on me, and it was just so easy to let go with the change in the way that I thought. But I'll go deeper into that in a different video. I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. But yeah, so I'll come back and make some more videos later. But thank you everybody, and have a good day.